You know that moment when someone shows a kind of patience you didn't think people had anymore? That is exactly how this story begins. Maya hurried down the hallway of the small community center, her breath caught somewhere between her chest and her throat. She wasn't late on purpose. Life had simply piled up on her today, one little thing after another, and she felt like she had been chasing time since sunrise. She pushed open the side door and stepped into the quiet lobby. And that is where she saw him. Evan sat alone on a wooden bench near the window, his hands resting calmly in his lap, as if waiting for her was the easiest thing in the world. He didn't look irritated, he didn't look impatient, he didn't even look bored. He just sat there with a gentle expression, almost peaceful. Maya stopped walking for a moment. She had expected him to be gone. Most people would have left by now, but he hadn't. He lifted his head the moment he sensed her presence, and that same easy smile spread across his face. It was the kind of smile that didn't push, didn't question, didn't judge. It simply said, "I'm glad you're here." Maya's shoulders relaxed without her even noticing. She walked toward him, her steps slow and unsure. "I'm so sorry," she said softly. "I didn't mean to make you wait. I thought you'd leave after a little while." Evan shook his head gently. "I said I'd be here," he replied, "so I stayed." Just like that. Simple words, simple tone. Yet something warm moved through her chest. She sat down beside him, but not too close, just close enough to show she appreciated him. The bench creaked lightly under their weight. For a moment, they didn't speak. Outside the window, the sun rested low, spreading soft gold across the parking lot. Small leaves rolled across the pavement as the light breeze picked them up and set them down again. Maya let out a slow breath. She had been rushing from task to task all day, but now, sitting here beside him, she felt something she hadn't felt since morning, calm. Evan glanced at her with quiet concern. "Long day?" he asked. "You have no idea," she said with a tired laugh. "Everything that could go wrong did, and then I thought I kept you waiting for no reason." "But you came," he said. "That's enough for me." She studied him for a moment. His calmness didn't feel forced. It wasn't fake. He wasn't pretending to be patient. He simply was. That surprised her more than she expected. They had only known each other for a handful of weeks, not long enough to call anything certain, but long enough for her to notice the little things. The way he listened with his full attention, the way he never rushed his words, the way he carried a steady warmth, even on difficult days. She had not planned on meeting someone like him. Not now, not when life already felt messy. But maybe some people show up exactly when they were meant to. Evan leaned back slightly, his voice soft. "I didn't want you to feel pressured," he said. "If you couldn't make it, that would have been all right too." It was strange how his kindness made her feel both lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because his tone comforted her. Heavier because she wasn't used to being treated this gently. "I appreciate that," Maya whispered, "more than you know." They sat quietly again, the silence warm instead of awkward. After a moment, Evan reached into his bag and pulled out a small paper cup. "I grabbed an extra tea," he said, with a shy smile, "in case you showed up. It's the kind you like." She blinked. He remembered? Her favorite tea? Her heart softened in a way she didn't expect. She took the cup carefully, the warmth seeping into her palms. "Thank you," she said, quiet, sincere, a little emotional. He nodded, not making a big deal out of it. That was another thing about him. He never made his kindness feel heavy. He just gave it, like it was the most natural part of who he was. Maya took a small sip, and the familiar taste settled her. She glanced at him again. "You really waited the whole time?" she asked. He nodded once. I didn't mind. "But why?" He looked away for a moment, smiling softly at the floor. "Because you matter," he said, "and I wanted to see you." Her breath caught. She wasn't expecting that. Not said so simply. Not said with such honesty. Her heart warmed and trembled a little. Before she could answer, the lobby lights flickered on as evening finally settled outside. The quiet moment between them deepened, and suddenly Maya wondered what this meeting might lead to and what he wasn't saying yet. The night air pressed softly against the windows, and Maya felt a new question forming, one she wasn't sure she was brave enough to ask. The moment Maya stepped outside with Evan, she felt the cool evening air brush against her face. It carried the soft scent of pine from the trees behind the community center. The sky had shifted to gentle shades of blue and pink, as if the day itself didn't want to end yet. Evan walked beside her, not too close, not too far, just enough to let her know he was there. It was a quiet walk, the kind that didn't demand anything. Maya held the warm cup of tea in her hands, taking small sips as she gathered her thoughts. She still couldn't believe he had waited for her so peacefully. No frustration, no disappointment, just steady calmness. "Are you feeling better now?" Evan asked softly. She nodded. "A little. Being here helps." "I'm glad," he said. There was something about the way he spoke. Simple, gentle, as if he wasn't trying to fix her day, just trying to stand beside her in it. They reached the small garden behind the center. A few benches sat near the walkway, surrounded by late-blooming flowers. The light made everything look softer, almost dreamlike. Maya paused, looking around. "It's so quiet tonight," she said. Evan smiled. "It's nice, isn't it? Peaceful." "Very," she whispered. They sat on a bench, and for a moment, neither of them tried to fill the silence. It felt safe, like the world had slowed down just for them. Finally, Evan turned to her with a thoughtful look. "You seemed worried when you walked in earlier," he said. "Was it just the long day?" Maya hesitated. She wasn't sure how much she should share. They weren't close enough for deep confessions, but his patience made her feel like she didn't have to hide. "It wasn't only the long day," she admitted quietly. "I was afraid you'd think I didn't care, that I forgot or didn't take this meeting seriously." Evan shook his head. "I didn't think that for a moment." "You didn't?" "No," he said with a soft smile. "I know you try your best." Those words landed deeper than he probably expected. She lowered her gaze, tracing the rim of her cup with her thumb. "People don't usually say things like that," she whispered. "Most of the time, they get frustrated with me." "But I'm not most people," he replied gently. The tone wasn't proud or dramatic. It was simple truth. Maya looked at him, surprised again by how easy he made everything feel. "Why are you so patient with me?" she asked. Evan looked toward the garden lights before answering, as if choosing his words with care. "Because you're someone worth being patient for," he said. Her heart tightened, not in fear, but in a way that made her feel seen and valued. She wasn't used to this. "Evan," she took a breath, "I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," he replied. "I'm not expecting anything from you." His kindness was so steady it almost made her emotional, not overwhelming, not dramatic, just constant. Maya set her teacup down and folded her hands together. "There's something I should tell you," she said quietly. He turned to her, listening fully, the way he always did. "I didn't think you liked spending time with me this much," she admitted. "I thought maybe you were just being polite." A soft laugh escaped him, not mocking, not sharp, just warm. "I'm not that good at pretending," he said. "If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't be." She felt her cheeks warm at his honesty. "And what about you?" he asked. "Do you like being here?" Maya looked around the quiet garden, then back at him. "Yes," she said, "more than I expected." The truth hung between them, gentle but strong. A soft breeze brushed past, lifting a few loose strands of her hair. Evan reached out instinctively, then paused, unsure if he should. He pulled his hand back politely. That small moment of him choosing respect over impulse made her chest warm. She smiled. "It's okay," she said. "You can move it." He hesitated, then gently brushed the strand behind her ear. The touch was light, careful, almost shy. Her breath caught, but in the best possible way. For a moment, everything felt still. The quiet, the warmth, the soft space between them. But then Evan pulled his hand back, his expression thoughtful, almost conflicted, as if there was something he wanted to say but wasn't sure he should. Maya noticed immediately. "What is it?" she asked softly. He looked at her, then away, then back again. I've been wanting to tell you something," he said, "but I don't want to rush you." Her heartbeat lifted. She wasn't sure if she was ready for whatever he was about to admit, but she wanted to know. Before she could speak, his voice dipped even softer. "It's something important." The night air stilled around them, as if waiting too, and Maya felt her heart prepare for words that might change everything. The moment Evan said he had something important to tell her, the garden seemed to grow quieter. Even the soft rustle of leaves felt distant. Maya's heart thumped gently, not in fear, but in anticipation. She turned slightly toward him. "Evan, what is it?" He didn't answer right away. He rested his elbows on his knees, looking down at his hands for a moment before lifting his gaze again. There was no nervousness in his eyes, just a careful kind of honesty. "I've been wanting to say this for days," he said, "but I didn't want to make things heavy between us." Maya swallowed softly. "You can tell me." He nodded, taking a slow breath. "I care about you," he said, plain and simple. "More than I meant to, more than I expected to." The words floated in the quiet air, soft but powerful. Maya felt her chest tighten, not painfully, just emotionally, the way someone feels when something true finally reaches them. She looked away for a second, gathering her thoughts. She wasn't used to direct honesty like this. She wasn't used to someone speaking gently without hiding behind jokes or hesitation. "Evan," she whispered. He held up a hand, stopping her from feeling pressured. "You don't have to say anything back," he said. "I mean that. I just didn't want to keep it inside anymore. I didn't want to pretend I didn't feel something when I clearly do." His voice stayed calm, steady, without expectation. That was what made it feel even more real. Maya breathed in slowly, the cool air filling her lungs. She looked at him again, and for the first time, she noticed something she hadn't seen before. His own careful vulnerability. Not loud, not bold, just quiet, gentle courage. "How long have you felt this way?" she asked softly. He smiled in a shy, almost apologetic way. "Longer than I admitted to myself. At first, I thought I just liked talking to you. Then I realized I looked forward to seeing you, a lot more than I should have." She felt warmth spread through her chest, slow and steady. "And today," he continued, "when you were late, I didn't get upset. I just hoped you'd still come. That's when I realized my feelings weren't small." His patience suddenly made even more sense. Maya looked down at her hands. "I didn't think someone like you would feel that way about me." "Someone like me?" he echoed gently. "What does that mean?" She hesitated. "You're calm, kind. You listen. You make everything feel lighter. I didn't think I fit into that kind of picture." Evan shook his head, not in disagreement, but in quiet understanding. "You fit more than you realize," he said. His words brushed against her heart like a warm hand. But then a small doubt surfaced inside her. "What if I disappoint you?" she asked. "What if I can't always show up on time, or I get overwhelmed, or I make things complicated without meaning to. Evan turned toward her fully. Maya, he said softly, I don't want perfection. I just want you to be yourself. Her breath trembled. No one had said something like that to her in a long time, maybe ever. She bit her lower lip lightly, unsure how to respond, but Evan didn't rush her. He simply sat there, letting the moment settle in its own gentle way. After a while, he asked, How do you feel about all this? Be honest. I can handle whatever you say. That question made her heart shift, because this wasn't pressure. It was care. She finally answered. I don't know exactly what I feel yet, she said softly, but I know I feel something warm, something good. His eyes softened. That's enough. They shared a quiet smile, the kind that felt like the beginning of something real. But before either of them could continue, the garden lights flickered again, brighter this time, reminding them how late it had become. Maya looked at the glowing path, then back at him. Evan, she whispered, there's something I didn't tell you either. He blinked, surprised. What is it? She hesitated, her fingers tracing the edge of the bench. It's something I've been afraid to say, something I don't want to lose the chance to admit. His expression shifted, soft concern mixed with curiosity. Maya, what do you want to tell me? She opened her mouth to answer, but her phone suddenly buzzed loudly in her pocket, startling her and breaking the fragile silence around them. She froze. Evan watched her carefully, waiting, and she knew, deep in her chest, that whatever came next might change the entire night. The sudden buzz of Maya's phone felt too loud for the gentle quiet around them. It pulled her out of the moment so sharply that she flinched. Her hand hovered near her pocket, unsure whether to answer or ignore it. Evan didn't push. He didn't even ask who it was. He simply waited, as he always did, with that steady patience she still didn't know how to handle. Maya finally took a slow breath and pulled out her phone. A name flashed across the screen. Her heart dipped. She looked away quickly and turned the phone face down on the bench. Evan noticed. But he didn't lean in. He didn't press her with questions. He only said, in a soft voice, "You don't have to explain if you're not ready." That alone made her chest tighten. She closed her eyes for a brief second. "It's nothing urgent," she whispered. "Not something I want to ruin this moment for." Evan nodded gently. "Then let's not ruin it." Those words should have made her relax, but instead her emotions grew louder inside her. There was something she wanted to say, something she needed to say, something she had been holding on to for far too long. She sat up straighter and looked at him. "Evan, about earlier," she said, "about what I was trying to tell you." He turned to her fully, giving his attention the way only he could, calm, focused, warm. "I'm listening," he said. She took another breath, steadying herself. "I didn't tell you everything about why I was late," she said softly. "Today wasn't just a busy day. I was avoiding something that's been weighing on me." Evan's eyes softened. "Are you all right?" "I will be," she said, "but there's something I need to be honest about." He didn't speak. He didn't shift. He simply waited for her truth. "There's someone who keeps trying to stay in my life," she said quietly. "Someone from my past. Someone I should have let go of a long time ago." Evan stayed still, his expression gentle but unreadable. "And tonight," she continued, "that person tried to reach me again. That's who called." A long breath left her. "I didn't want you to misunderstand," she said. "And I didn't want this old part of my life to interfere with something new, with something good." Evan nodded slowly, taking it in. "Thank you for telling me," he said. "I know that wasn't easy." She looked at him, unsure. "You're not upset?" "Why would I be?" "Because I'm not simple," she whispered. I have things I'm still letting go of, and I don't want you to think I'm running back to old places. He shook his head, calm as ever. Maya, everyone has a past, he said. The important thing is what you choose now. Those words settled over her like soft rain. She hadn't expected him to handle it with such grace. She hadn't expected him to understand without judgment. And yet, here he was, steady, patient, gentle. She looked down at her hands. I don't want to go back, she admitted. I want to move forward, but I'm scared of messing things up. Evan leaned slightly closer, not enough to overwhelm her, just enough to make his presence a reassurance. You're not messing anything up, he said. You're being honest. That matters more than pretending everything is perfect. His voice carried warmth that reached the parts of her heart she usually kept hidden. Then he asked, carefully, "And this something new you mentioned? Is that what you feel here, with me?" She swallowed. "Yes," she whispered. The word left her lips so gently, but it carried so much truth. Evan's expression softened into a quiet smile, the kind that looked almost relieved. "Maya," he said softly, "I'm not going anywhere. Not because I expect anything from you, but because I care, and I want to walk forward with you, at your pace." Her heartbeat warmed at his words. She didn't know how someone could give so much calmness, so much steadiness, so much care without asking for anything in return. But before she could answer, the wind picked up gently, brushing through the leaves. One small flower petal drifted onto the bench between them, as if the world itself was nudging them closer. Maya felt something shift inside her, a courage she hadn't felt in a long time. "Evan," she whispered, "there's one more thing I want to tell you." His attention sharpened just a little, his eyes gentle but focused. "What is it?" he asked. She hesitated, heart trembling, breath soft. "I think," she whispered, "I'm starting to feel something stronger than I expected." The moment the words left her lips, the air grew still again. Evan's eyes softened even more, but he didn't move. He didn't speak. He simply waited for her to continue. But before she could, a distant voice called her name from the doorway behind them. Maya rose. Evan turned, and both of them realized the moment had just changed. The sound of her name cut through the quiet garden like a soft but unexpected echo. Maya turned slowly toward the doorway, her breath catching. A woman stood there, someone Maya recognized from the community center staff. She held a clipboard in her hands and looked apologetic, as if she hadn't meant to interrupt anything important. "Maya," she said gently, "sorry to bother you. They were asking if you still needed the room booked for tonight. I didn't want to lock up without checking." Maya nodded quickly, trying to steady her voice. "Oh, right. Thank you. I'll let them know in a moment." The staff member gave a small nod and disappeared back inside. The interruption was small, harmless, but it shifted the air around Maya and Evan, like a moment paused before it could become something more. Maya exhaled slowly. She looked at Evan again. He didn't rush her. He didn't push to reclaim the moment. He simply watched her with that same patient warmth, waiting for her to find her way back at her own pace. Maya cleared her throat softly. "Sorry," she whispered. "That startled me." "It's all right," Evan said. "You were saying something important." She looked down at her hands again, suddenly shy. "I was." "Well," he said gently, "I'm still here." Those 3 words, "I'm still here," held more comfort than anything she had felt in a long time. She took a breath. "I said I was starting to feel something stronger," she whispered, "and I meant it." Evan's eyes warmed. "That means a lot," he said quietly. It scares me, she admitted, because I didn't expect any of this. I didn't expect you to wait for me. I didn't expect you to care so deeply, and I definitely didn't expect you to be this patient with me. Evan shook his head, smiling softly. Maya, patience isn't something I give because I'm trying to impress you. It's something that happens naturally because of how I feel around you. Her heart tightened. I'm not perfect, she whispered. And I'm not asking you to be, he said. The evening breeze brushed lightly between them. The flowers swayed. The garden lights glowed with soft golden halos. Everything felt calm, gentle, and unhurried, just like him. Maya looked at him, her voice quieter than before. I don't want to run from this, she said. I don't want fear or the past or anything else to decide how this ends. Evan's expression grew tender. And how do you want it to end? He asked. Maya hesitated, not because she didn't know, but because saying it aloud felt like stepping into something new. I want it to begin, she whispered. For the first time tonight, Evan's breath caught just slightly, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough that she noticed. He leaned in by only an inch, not invading her space, not rushing, just enough to show he had heard her clearly. Maya, he said, I'd like that too, more than you know. Her eyes warmed, suddenly shimmering with emotion she didn't try to hide this time. And, he added, we can move as slowly as you need. We'll figure it out together. The word together landed like a gentle anchor in her chest. They sat in that quiet certainty for a moment. Two people learning what it felt like to trust something new, something unexpected, something quietly beautiful. Maya let out a small laugh under her breath, the kind that came from relief, not humor. I can't believe I almost didn't come tonight, she said. Evan smiled. I'm glad you did. She nudged his shoulder lightly. And I can't believe you waited for me that long. I told you, he said. It wasn't hard. Why not? She asked, her voice playful now. Because, he said, with a smile that reached his eyes, I knew I wanted to see you, and some things are worth waiting for. Her heart softened completely. Maya looked at him, steady and full of feeling. Evan, she said, I want this. I want us. Even if we take it slow, even if I'm still learning how to trust something good. Evan nodded, his voice warm. Then we'll start right here, he said, right now. She smiled, a real smile, soft and bright. And for the first time in a long while, she felt hope blooming gently inside her. The night around them grew quieter, wrapping the two of them in a peaceful stillness. The world wasn't rushing. Nothing was spinning out of control. Everything felt calm, like a deep breath she had finally learned how to take. Evan reached out slowly, carefully, and offered his hand. Not grabbing, not assuming, just offering. Maya looked at his hand, then at him, and without hesitation this time, she placed her hand in his. Their fingers fit together softly, naturally, like something that had been waiting to happen. Evan's smile warmed. Maya felt the moment settle warmly in her heart, and as the garden lights glowed around them, she knew, with quiet certainty, that his patience hadn't just surprised her, it had changed her, and this time, she wasn't running from it. She was stepping toward it, toward him, toward something new and gentle and real, something worth beginning. The end.